And howdy do, are we working? I'm not sure. Let me make sure here. I got a glare here. Yep, I am going. Hey, I'm doing something a little different here. Let me tell you why. We go. My location is different, as you can see. I'm on vacation this week. I probably won't upload this till I get back. I will already be home by the time I'm able to upload it. But I am here in I'm having trouble speaking already. I've got a Fall City beer here, Fall City Pale Ale to be exact. Uh, Brewed and bottled for Fall City under special arrangement by Blackstone Brewing Company, Nashville, Tennessee. So what does that tell you? Well, it tells you it's a contract. They're contracted. This was an old brewery that went under hard times at one point, was sold to everybody, it eventually closed for good, and it's trying to be revived as a contract brew, which we've seen over and over again. Uh, Let me pour some in a glass here, and I'm going to read a little bit here. It's 5% beer. They don't give a lot of information about the beer specifically. Let me show you the color. Almost looks just a little more golden than your typical American lager, but this is an ale. They call it a pale ale. But it does pour a nice golden, as you can see there. I don't want to read all of this, but I do want to read one paragraph here. Let me set my glass down and try not to spill it. And I got a glare here, so bear with me if my camera goes off. In 1978, the brewery closed, and the rights to sell the beer were sold to Heilman Brewing Company. The beer was made in Evansville, Indiana, until Heilman was later sold to Pittsburgh Brewing. Pittsburgh Brewing continued to make the brand until recent years as a very low-cost lager. Are you understanding me now? A part of the reason Falls City survived as long as it did is also the reason the legacy isn't as rich as it should be. By changing the taste to adapt to the trend towards lighter beers, and then making necessary cuts to stay competitive in national markets, the taste isn't remembered fondly by beer connoisseurs. Now, how many times have we heard that by many classic, American classic brands? They get bought and sold, and the taste that is now what we remember, it wasn't even close to what it was originally. That's why I wanted to read just that one paragraph, because it fits in with what I want to talk about. How about that? See how I did all that? Apologize, it took me almost 3 minutes to get to the beer, but sometimes shit takes a little bit of time. Oh, wow. Oh, so let me give you. I actually had one of these yesterday, and I'm drinking this now because I just got back, and I wanted to. This will be my first official video here, so. But I want to drink something easy drinking, and I'm gonna tell you, here's the good, the bad, the ugly about this beer as quick as I can possibly do it. I'm gonna give you the bad first. The bad is it's not really a pale ale in what most craft beer, as I said in their piece, craft beer connoisseurs, craft beer nerds, craft beer geeks, consider a pale ale by today's standard. It just isn't. It's not a pale ale by any standards. They'd really be better off just calling this Falls City Ale. Just calling it an ale. Take the pale off, and it would, because it is refreshing. But I'll get to that later. The other bad is price. I've seen this for $8.49 and $8.99. It's $8.99 in most places, but I did find it one place for $8.49. Oh. It's really not that kind of beer. If you're following me, $6.99, $7.99 top end is really what this beer ought to be. Now that's the bad news. The good news is, the other part of the bad news, I suppose, is it's not. There's nothing memorable or remarkable about it. But here's the good news. The good news is there is nothing wrong with the taste. Although it isn't big, it isn't overwhelming, it's not remarkable, it's not overwhelming. It is incredibly satisfying, and in some and not satisfying, but refreshing, and satisfying in a sense that, I came home sweaty and now I feel good drinking a beer. Are you following me? So by that logic, I mean it does. I mean I could really sink my teeth into this more so than most typical pilsners or lagers, because there is some flavor there. It is refreshing. At $6.99, $7.99, it'd be a for sure buy again. but at $8.99, it's a never. Now here's the ugly. The ugly is if this would have came out about 13 years ago, it would have been accepted as a decent, lighter end pale ale. The fact is, the way craft beer industry is right now, this I don't even know how they can call this a pale ale. It doesn't remotely even resemble a pale ale in flavor. It just doesn't. So the ugly is that most craft beer nerds that are going to buy this beer aren't going to accept it. Macro drinkers aren't going to buy it, even though it's better than what they're drinking because of the price. If it was down to maybe $6.99 a 6 pack, $12 a 12 pack, then you have, possibly some kind of renaissance for this beer. But as it stands right now, I don't see much future for it. But I bought it for nostalgia, and truthfully, if I found it for a lesser price, I'd buy it again for nostalgia. So there you go. How about that, my first my video for my first video for Fall City beer? How about that?